Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of From No Crypto to No Crypto. I'm the crypto coach, Blockchain Wayne. Today we're joined by Danny. Danny is the head of partnerships at SecuX. SecuX is a hardware wallet company. So Danny, thanks for joining us today to talk about, SecuX, yourself, and also some really cool things about hardware wallets.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Wayne. Yeah, well, SecuX, the company started in 2018, so now it has been 5 years. And throughout the years, we invent different hardware wallet. We first come up with the crypto hardware wallet, and last year we came up with NFT hardware wallet, along with the C-phrase wallet as well. So we pretty much cover everything that's going to secure your digital assets throughout the years.
Awesome. I've used the SecuX wallet, and we'll jump into SecuX in a minute, maybe go a little bit deeper into what that is and also some basics around hardware wallets. But tell us a little bit about yourself, your back. I know I introduced you as the head of partnerships, but tell us your background, man, and what got you into this space.
Oh, yeah, of course. I've always been in tech industry. And then when I look at blockchain, I think first time when I look at it was 2017. And that's when people still trying to mine cryptos, right? And then I tried to be like one of those that was thinking about this technology. And then eventually, a few years back, and then I got a chance to see their startup in Taiwan actually, and then producing, hardware wallets. I'm thinking about, well, this is definitely blockchain is going to change a lot of things, how people actually use their assets. They when it comes to self custody, right? So I was like, okay, since I'm always in tech and I like to stay up to date when it comes to that space in that industry, I was like, okay, I want to join this space, to learn something too.
Awesome. So you said you did a little bit of mining?
Well, I kind of tried it for a little bit, but back in the days, 2017, it was so hard to get a GPU. ASIC mining was not even possible. Yeah, it was pretty hard too.
Yeah, definitely made it hard. I'm sure gamers are happy now. They can get GPUs easily, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. So let's jump into SecuX. Let's tell us you mentioned a little bit. SecuX has hardware wallets, NFT wallets. What makes it different for the user experience? Just say hardware wallet to hardware wallet. Not really to talk bad about any other products that are out there, but what makes SecuX hardware wallets different?
Okay, well, first of all, our hardware wallet comes with a large touch screen. So how we design it is I'm sure that most of us use a smartphone. So you get used to how you navigate everything, and then how we design it is actually how you navigate your cell phone, pretty much just like that. And then for that, and then learning curve to adopt a new device, and that device is so important to hold on to your assets, right? So learning curve is shortened to nearly minimal. So that's what makes us different for not only stand out from other brands, or easier for newcomers to adopt Web3 blockchain. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we're all used. You're right. We're used to using smartphones. Using some of the other hardware wallets reminds me of trying to, back in the day when we used to have to text on a flip phone. You had to hit that number like 4 times just to get the right letter you needed. So definitely makes it a whole lot easier. In fact, I represent. I've got my
thank you so much.
SecuX right there. Yeah, I love it. And it's got the FIO protocol integrated into it, which is another feature. And that's what I love about you guys. You focus on simplicity of ease of use, and so FIO is just a perfect fit to have it in there. So it takes a lot of the pressure out of sending and receiving from the hardware wallet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, what we see is a lot of times we come across like our users sending an email asking about if they send to the address correctly and then what happened to the transactions. Sometimes we realize that the address is just receiving address it's just too long. It's impossible for anyone
Right.
to remember that. Yeah, so well, that's why a field crypto handle comes really handy when it comes to that, right? So send and receive, you just request that, and then that's pretty
Yeah.
much the name you want in the domain. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that I think is a pain point for people, because even if you've been in the space a while and you're not using a handle, if you're sending a large amount, it's still kind of stressful when you copy and paste that wallet address to make sure everything matches, and really till it gets there. And one of the things we've heard a lot of, and I've heard over the years, when you're going to send a decent amount of crypto prior to using FIO handles, was, oh, just do a test send. Do a test send of a few dollars, make sure it gets there, and then you can send the rest. And man, back in, I know definitely in 2021, early 22, that wasn't really feasible because Ethereum gas, if you're sending anything on the ETH chain, man, the gas fees were like $50, $60 just for a test send.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty different.
crazy. Yeah, which is another pain point all in itself. But yeah, I mean, sending the handles makes it easy. I realized long ago, though, I was talking to some people that have supposedly been into crypto for a couple years, and I was trying to explain to them what FIO is, and I realized that they didn't even understand the problem because they all kept all of their crypto on exchanges, and we'll get to that. Talk more about that later as far as keeping crypto on exchanges, but. They thought they'd been in crypto, but they'd only been buying and selling on that one exchange, so they never had to send it off of the exchange. They didn't understand that problem, and when people see that problem, they understand it. I think that's really was a friction point too, talking about hardware wallets, because it stops. I know people that have bought hardware wallets and never set them up because they're too scared to transfer their stuff off. It's not necessarily the device itself; it's the fact that, okay, I've got to take these assets and send them somewhere else, and they know when they look at that wallet address, like, God, this is complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So let's give everybody a little bit of 101 around hardware, because there's different types of wallets, right? There's the wallets that people have on exchanges, centralized exchanges, where the user doesn't really control the private keys. Then there's hot wallets, right? Mobile wallets that allow people to take take ownership of their assets. And then there's hardware wallets like you guys make. So what makes hardware wallets different, unique, and probably the best choice when it comes to security?
Oh yeah, of course. When it comes to like what Wayne just said, that from centralized exchange, they might have their own wallet, they might not. So that really depends on if you, when you create the account is pretty way this way, it might be easier for them to understand. Do they give you a set of private keys? Well, that's C phrase actually. C phrase. Do they actually give you that? So you have control over that private key actually act as a master key, right? And then, but for a software wallet, yeah, they definitely mostly actually give you a set of C phrase. So C phrase to generate private keys. But for us, hardware wallet, the C phrase is generated from a secure element inside of the device, which is keep offline, right? And that C phrase never leaves the secure elements. You can see it when you first set it up, and then you have to save the C phrase in order one day you want to use it as a master key to recover from, well, any unfortunate event, right? And then one of the things that a lot of people wouldn't understand is, well, how C phrase is generated. And then, well, I have to be very honest with you when it comes to this one. If you generate that from, let's say, your mobile phone, and then I do not know where to keep the C phrase. So that's a problem, right? So if you use your mobile phone, let's say it's even locked on the password management running on your phone, but think about your phone is constantly online, most of the people, right? Smartphone. And then if you download something, or if you browse a website, you click on something, you don't know what's going to happen to your phone a lot of times too. So I think the best way to keep safe your digital assets is actually to have a hardware wallet that actually has a secure element that hold on to your seed phrase private key in there and it never goes out. Yeah, in that way you verify your transaction on both your phone, on the computer, and the hardware wallet. That's probably the safest way to do that.
Yeah, so it keeps that. You're right. So that seed phrase, that private key, is kept offline, which prevents a lot of issues. I think with a lot of people too, when they set up mobile wallets, a lot of times they don't really do what they should with the seed phrases in themselves, right? You always tell people, don't screenshot it, don't copy and paste and put it into a Google document, and some people still do that anyway, and that's where the breaches happen, because people don't realize it's not so much the device itself, right? The cryptocurrency is not actually stored in a wallet. Your wallet, you said it earlier, a master key, your wallet acts as a keychain that allows you to use the key to access and control what happens with that crypto. All that crypto is stored on chain. It's the keys that you're controlling. And so you want to make sure you don't have your keys somewhere where someone can copy them and take them and easily access them. So hardware wallets are the key. I can tell you, man, the SecuX one has definitely been, from the ease of setup and the ease of use, one of the better ones. I've had ledgers and trezors and elipals and even just the cards, the Arculus card and others. I get sent a lot of wallets to test out, and I'm all about usability and not just can I use it and do I like it, but if a new user goes to get this, are they going to be intimidated? I mean, I've got friends that have bought ledgers and trezors that they've still never opened the box, and they bought them in 2017, 2018, right? It's like they were just too intimidated to even take the next step to set them up, and it's that combination of having to send it off of the exchange and then also trying to figure it out. And I think you've seen it, so let's jump into that, man, because most people don't tend to move their assets until something happens, right? There's something happens that makes them panic a little and want to move it. Not everybody, but most people, right? So did you guys see a big spike in demand after what happened last year between Celsius and Voyager and FTX, with those exchanges going down?
Well, it's a good question. Unfortunately, we did. But the good thing is, for us, from SecuX, and we all have a hardware wallet ourselves, and then I can actually say that none of us from SecuX was affected by the unfortunate events, from Celsius or Voyager or even FTX. Yeah, and I'm sure that people, just like you said earlier, scared to set up the hardware wallet, right? But for us, SecuX, we do not have access to any of your information from the device. So that means it's interesting. Well, if one day you lose your C phrase and then you ask us, or even the government can ask us, can we recover their assets? I'll be very, very honest in telling we don't have access to that, so we don't know. Yeah.
Right.
But like you said earlier, they can do a test to send out, small amount of money, small amount of tokens to the hardware wallet to set up to see that from, any exchange or any wallets they have, to test it out. And then with the crypto handle, that's going to be even easier if both are compatible, right? Yeah, that's going to be even easier, more human readable for anyone. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, centralized exchanges, if someone's a trader, they're probably going to have funds on an exchange, right? But even your knowledgeable traders know that you only leave on an exchange what you're trading. If you're not actively trading something, then you should have it off of an exchange, because they control the keys. And a centralized exchange, like what happened with FTX and Voyager and Celsius, it's unfortunate that it happened, but that's why people need to realize that cryptocurrency gives you the ability to 100% control the ownership of your assets. And then when you leave them on a centralized exchange, you're basically handing over your private keys to, you've got to trust a third party. And some exchanges have done well with that trust, and some, as we saw, have not. They violated that trust, used user funds, didn't have enough to cover their withdrawals, and so things like that happen. And I think that's what drove a lot of people that realized that probably knew they should have not been keeping their cryptocurrency on exchanges. So when you see that start to happen, especially a few in a row, people are like, oh crap, I've really got to do something. So then that fear of loss at that point spawns them to take action and purchase a hardware wallet that didn't already have one, and then utilize it if they do.
Yeah, that's the reason we've been thinking about that. We, as in SecuX, we've been thinking about that. What's the best time to, actually talk to people who just got into this space, right? We're thinking about, how actually people look into crypto investment, if you see that as an investment, or you see that as for example, like utility tokens, right? And then the best way so far, we think that is not when they have a hardware, like hot wallet, so software wallet. It's probably when they just look into this space. That's when we had to engage them and tell them what's the safest way to take care of your digital assets yourself. That's how them to drive the adoption and to make sure our products design as easy as possible for them to use. So that would hold on to their assets themselves, and then they can rebuild this trust if any unfortunate event happened to them before.
Yeah. So I know it's kind of early. Like at the time of this recording, we just happened this week, right? The SEC filed charges against Binance and Coinbase. That's a whole different debacle there. I've got my opinions on that one, but that obviously creates a little bit more of the fear around exchanges. Have you guys seen any kind of a additional increase in interest or web traffic or anything since then?
We do, yeah, we actually do. And then I remember that Coinbase is actually going everything on chain. Their goal is 2025, right? If I remember correctly. So I think that if they're doing that, everything's on chain, all the transactions, all the assets on chain, and then you actually had to take custody yourself. They're pretty much giving out the same idea, just like hardware wallet as well. It's actually the foundation of blockchain. Yeah. So, for that, and then it's still early to say that, especially the first hearing from the financial community is next Monday.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. So we will get an idea early next week, Monday. Yeah. But it's good to see that Coinbase, not just Coinbase, and then other people actually promote self custody. So that's probably the right way we practice blockchain.
Yeah. And it's funny because we've had conversations and business dealings with Binance and Coinbase. We're not integrated into Coinbase yet, but we've had a lot of conversations with people from both places, and both of them are putting a lot of their resources not into building out more in the centralized exchanges, building out more in the decentralized networks and infrastructure and stuff like that, where Coinbase, the guy at Coinbase said their biggest focus was the Coinbase wallet, which is a non-custodial wallet where the user controls their private keys, and making that thing super easy to use. And same thing with Binance. Talking to Binance, their biggest focus has been on the decentralized chain. It's just centralized exchanges for now are just that on-ramp for people, because you can easily you can go in, verify your identity, and then you can link a bank account or a credit card and start buying crypto if someone wanted to buy it from those centralized exchanges. So that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. Well, I think coming from that, when it comes to a wallet, that's probably the entrance of everything in Web3. So you just mentioned on-ramp. Well, there's off-ramp, of course, on-ramp, off-ramp, right? If this wallet, then I believe nowadays, like, people thinking about like that's probably your digital identity. Wallet address or your crypto handle is your digital identity. That's what we call DID. And then if that's your entry, and then entry point, and then that's if you want digital assets, okay, from your entry point, that means that you should probably just get it from the wallet. I think that's they finally realized that the easiest way is, to create an account, as in to create a wallet to generate the C phrase, and then you start buying cryptos, digital assets. In that sense, is probably understand how probably users will understand you need C phrase. You need to keep them safe. C phrase is safe, and then start buying or investing or look into this technology or the usability of everything on the blockchain.
Yeah. I think users have a ways to go, but that's the way it really should be. Because you think about when a lot of centralized exchanges, they pool users' funds all together. It's a centralized point where a lot of hackers try to attack. So you have like what happened with FTX, where it could be like someone inside the company that's misusing funds, or it could be just a hacker that knows that exchange holds billions of dollars of crypto. So they're going to try to hack that exchange a lot quicker than they're going to try to hack individual wallets. So if each user learns how to take custody within their own wallet and not rely on exchange to hold it, and we're even starting to see an emergence of some exchanges where they're centralized exchanges in terms of they provide liquidity for trading, and they provide the digital infrastructure, but you have to connect your wallet to trade. So at the end of the day, that user, when they're done trading, they don't have any funds on the exchange, and the exchange has less liability and risk because they're not holding users' funds.
They don't, yeah. And then the other thing is that when everything's on the blockchain, and then for us like users, we can see our fund goes, because blockchain is all about transparency, right? Mm-hmm. So in that sense, it's prevent anyone else to move our funds around. That's probably the safest way too.
Yep, absolutely. Now, what are you guys seeing as far as with hardware wallet sales? Are you seeing certain regions or countries jumping on board faster with hardware wallets than others? I mean, not specific countries you have to name, but just in general. Are there certain parts of the world that you're seeing are really jumping into this more than others?
Well, we do see some newcomers. Excuse me. We do see some newcomers from Asia, actually a lot. And then the adoption rate is faster than we expected. I think that's a good thing. And then especially, they actually coming from, a perspective to have a hardware wallet first. Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. So when they, before they buy a hardware wallet, they ask a lot of questions to make sure, what they know and what's really happening in the space are correct. Yeah. And sometimes, we produce articles to make sure, they understand what blockchain is, how to make a transaction properly. And then we just realized that some articles we see on the website are not necessarily correct. Well, because I'm not saying at that point they wrote that was incorrect. I'm just saying that, for the past, even just last year, Ethereum moved from, proof of stake to, proof of work to proof of stake. That changed a lot of things too, then how people can stake Ethereum, right? So coming from that perspective, then make sure information you get is correct, and then you just have to get it from a reliable source, and then that's the latest information.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned staking. I love staking options from within hardware wallets, and you guys allow, I know for sure, FIO tokens can be staked directly from your SecuX hardware wallet. And I think people don't realize that. They think they have to go through centralized exchanges for staking, and I know coins like Fio, Tezos, and I'm sure there's some others that allow you to stake. Well, you can keep the assets securely, the private keys to those assets at least securely in your wallet. Do you guys see a lot of interest in people wanting to stake from using get a SecuX hardware wallet and then stake some assets from there?
Well, it's a very good question. I think most of the users, when it comes to, well, when they don't move their money around, the first choice they go to is actually staking.
Mm-hmm.
We do see that. And then for different blockchains, they have, well, different mechanics, if I should say it. And then, but with Field, we support natively staking. That means that you're funding a wallet. If you want to go staking that, it goes to the blockchain to fund the blockchain actually. And then how it controls is by the smart contract. So there's no human being there to move your funds around. I think that's probably, and that's totally transparent to you and to anyone. But they wouldn't know that's you because that's how it is, right? So totally transparent to you, and you see how it is. You do that from your hardware wallet. It's probably the safest way to do that too. And then we do see a lot of that. Passive income, first choice is.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I always challenge people to learn more about staking, because staking is a word that's kind of used a lot of times when it shouldn't, because certain times people think they're staking assets and they're really just depositing it into a platform, and that platform's using those funds elsewhere, versus, and then paying them a percentage back, versus true like staking in a proof of stake environment where you have like ETH or Tezos or Fio or anyone else that's proof of stake, to where you can actually stake those tokens, participate in governance, and earn a reward from the on-chain activity.
Yeah, definitely. I do see a lot of that. Yeah.
Awesome, Danny. So, as we wrap up, man, I definitely want to get everybody to learn more about SecuX. So tell them where they can find more information about SecuX and follow you guys.
Oh yeah, please go to our official website, secuxtech.com, on our Twitter, SecuX Wallet. Yeah, you see, we currently have a blue check. Yeah, but I think soon enough we will upgrade it to the yellow check. Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, that's necessary these days, right? So many fake accounts out there. You've got to have the check
Always
verification.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure to follow these guys. Let's look at what they're doing. Hardware wallets are a necessity in the future, and really now. I mean, I say in the future because I think of mass adoption, more people coming into crypto, and we want to make sure those people learn about true self-custody, the best place to store their assets. And for me, I don't know, Danny, how you explain it to people, but for me, I use centralized exchanges because I trade some, right? So that's why I use that for that. Hot wallets, like your mobile wallets on your phone, I use those, but I keep a little bit of money on there, right? Just things I would do normal day to day. MetaMask, keep a little bit of ETH and a few other things just to be able to do transactions. And then the majority is what you keep in cold storage on hardware wallets like SecuX, because the comparison, like if I had tens of thousands of dollars for, say, like physical money, I wouldn't put all that in my physical wallet and keep it in my back pocket and walk around, right? I'd keep a little bit to spend and keep the rest in the safe at home. And that's kind of how I explain wallet structures to people. Like, I don't like to keep a lot of money in the bank, so I keep a little bit of money in the bank that I need to use. In my physical wallet, I keep a little bit of money I like to spend. So same thing with my mobile hot wallet. I keep a little bit of crypto in there that I can utilize. And then the bulk of it is at home and, in the safe, in the vault, I guess you could say.
Well, you can say that. Well, when it comes to that, maybe you can think of that as your bank account. Well, for example, okay, I know like maybe 10 years ago or even 20 years ago, we still write a check. So that's where we have a checking account. And then when we don't, but most of the money is still in our saving account. Well, think about saving account. If today you can actually take control of your saving account, and then you actually Yeah, self custody. That's gonna be your hardware wallet. You're not gonna walk around with your saving account, right? You probably
Right.
walk around your debit card. That goes to your checking account. That's not even go to your saving account.
Right.
You're not
Yeah.
gonna walk
That.
around without the money. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good description too. Awesome, Danny. Well, thanks again for joining us today, man. It's been a pleasure. Everybody, make sure to follow SecuX. Check out their website as well. Take a look at what they have. Everybody's going to be using digital assets here soon, so go ahead. I'd say bite the bullet. Order you a hardware wallet. Get one that's easy to use. If you can use a cell phone, you can use a SecuX wallet, right? So get that.
Exactly,
check it
yeah.
out. Danny, thanks again for joining us today, man.
Well, thank you for having me, Wayne. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Take care, and we'll see you all in the next episode.
See you.